This video reveals the devastating truth about ethnic origins of some people masquerading around as Sikhs, how they are maligning Sikhs, and why all Punjabis, Americans, and Britons should shun them. Hello, friends. This is Unmasked Truth with Harmanjit Saini, where I provide unique analysis of world events based on the unmasked truth that after surrender, Germany continued World War II clandestinely and became a killing machine. I also provide true news that you will find nowhere else. In my previous videos on Sikhs around the world, I have shared the shocking truth about the ethnic origins of some Sikhs and how they are engaged in maligning Sikhs. The Germans have targeted the Sikhs for destruction because they fought them in both world wars as part of the British Indian Army. To accomplish that task, they have made alliances with the Pathans, also known as Pashtuns, of Afghanistan and Pakistan, and many of them living in India for more than a century, and the Rajputs of Rajasthan state in India. One of the very successful German tactics to destroy their enemies is to infiltrate their ranks. For example, tens of millions of people of German ancestry masquerade around as people of British ancestry in the United States and British Commonwealth nations by taking British names. This gives them two advantages in carrying out their nefarious clandestine agenda. First, they deal among themselves in business activities, thus helping each other, but not people of actual British descent. But because they have the same names as people of British descent, people of British descent consider them their own and also deal with them and help their businesses. Thus, German masqueraders receive support from all sections of society, which enables them to prosper economically. Secondly, they are easily able to win the confidence of people of British descent, which makes it easier for the German masqueraders to murder them clandestinely. That's why they have been successful in murdering 9 to 10 million white people of non German ancestry in America alone and keep it a secret for 30 long years. Since the strategy of Americans of German descent to masquerade as people of British descent has been so successful in accomplishing their goals, they have taught the same strategy to the Rajputs and Pathans, who have been masquerading around as Sikhs for many decades and in some cases for more than a century, with devastating results for the Sikhs. Jats of the Greater Punjab area, consisting of Punjab, Haryana, Jammu and Kashmir, Himachal Pradesh, Delhi, Uttar Pradesh, and Uttarakhand states in India, are of Jewish origin. They are also the best military men among the Punjabis. Naturally, they would be the top target for the Germans to impoverish and ultimately destroy. Sikhs have known Sidhu Sikhs as a prominent Jat Sikh clan. However, in my June 2nd, 2022 video titled America is Killing German Masqueraders, Punjab is also now killing Rajput masquerader murderers. I mentioned that I was shocked to learn that Sidhu Sikhs are actually Rajputs masquerading around as Punjabi Jat Sikhs and have been murdering Punjabi Sikhs to be financially rewarded in their chosen entertainment industry careers. I described the case of actor Deep Sidhu and Sikh rapper Shubdeep Singh Sidhu, also known as Sidhu Moosewala. Deep Sidhu was put to death in an orchestrated road accident, while 20-year-old Sidhu Moosewala was shot dead. Another very prominent Punjabi Jat Sikh clan is Sandhu. To my horror, I have recently learned that they too are Rajputs masquerading around as Punjabi Jat Sikhs. By masquerading as Jat Sikhs, they have the support of all Jat Sikhs and other Punjabis as well as Rajputs and their national allies. That is how they have become successful in their careers and businesses over the past 75 years since India's independence and become known as prominent Punjabi Jat Sikhs like the Sidhus. Other people I want to warn Punjabis about is those with the last name Puri, Puri, who masquerade around as Punjabi Sikhs, like India's current Minister of Petroleum and Natural Gas, Hardeep Singh Puri, or they masquerade around as Punjabi Hindus. They are not Punjabis but Rajputs from Rajasthan. Again, they have achieved success because they received support from Punjabis as they were masquerading as Punjabis, in addition to the support they received from their Rajput kinsmen and their allies in the rest of India, who were all German allies. Those Sikhs have been discriminated against and have never received the kind of jobs or business opportunities that were their due on merit. The central government still kept some balance and gave at least one senior cabinet position to Sikhs and a couple of junior ministerial positions. Now these positions are filled by Rajputs or Pathans masquerading around as Sikhs. Sikhs are thus deprived of even these little government positions. German allies Narendra Modi and his gang have been thorough in carrying out the wishes of the Germans. We are due compensation for these 75 years of discrimination. A famous Puri in the United States had been the swindler Sikh Harmanjit Singh Yogi, who died in 2004. He went by the title Sri Singh Sahib, which he gave himself, though falsely claiming that it was given to him at the Golden Temple in Amritsar, the most prominent Sikh shrine. In the United States, his well-known products were Yogi Tea and Peace Cereal, and his organization, Sri Singh Sahib Corporation, had about $1 billion in security contracts providing security services for federal facilities. He was accused of sexual misconduct, for which the surviving organization has a reparations program. His organizations availed of the services of his followers in the guise of doing service without paying them, and also inveigled them into making contributions of their properties to his organizations with deceptive contracts, thus swindling them of their major assets. Because of his gross misdeeds, Sikhs are maligned. Harbhajan Singh Puri went by the nickname Yogi Bhajan. Specialty of his teachings of Sikhism was that was what he called Kundalini Yoga, whereas Sikhism in reality has nothing to do with yoga. So he was a fraudulent Sikh teacher. But since he claimed to be a Sikh, Sikhs were still pleased, thinking that he was preaching their religion and making converts in the West. Another way Germans try to destroy and harm their enemies is to infiltrate all their institutions, including religion. They have done that to Christianity in the United States and Britain, and even in God's church, or to which I belong. We have more German masqueraders who are secretly Satan worshippers as members in God's church than genuine members. And their goal has always been to destroy God's church from within. They marry genuine members but then turn their children and grandchildren into children of the devil. I am familiar with a case in a church in which a German masquerader man married a genuine church member woman. All their children and grandchildren are now children of the devil, meaning they consider themselves to be German masqueraders. In the same way, a masquerader woman married a genuine member man. All their children and grandchildren are now children of the devil. These two families have also intermarried in one case. The result is that when that church could have potentially had more than 20 genuine members and children, grandchildren, and great grandchildren, now they have no genuine members, but they are all masqueraders, fully committed to the devil and his ways. That is how they destroy their enemies' institutions and religion from within. Harbhajan Singh Puri's purpose in infiltrating Sikhism was the same. Sikhs need to beware of these attempts of infiltrators to pervert the religion. They try to inject yoga and other practices of Hinduism into the religion, which were never a part of Sikhism. Harbhajan Singh Puri also kept a full flowing, unkempt beard to set a bad example for Sikhs to follow, which was also a German strategy to make the Sikhs look physically unattractive. Some, like Bhindran Wale, did the same, and some Sikh Granthis, that is, preachers in the Gurdwaras, do the same, that is, keep long flowing, unkept beards. Sikhs, please become familiar with these tactics of the Germans and their allies in India and avoid them. Some of these Sikh Granthis could be Rajput masqueraders. It should be the goal of every human being, including every Sikh, to look the best they can. By the way, there are some still trying to rehabilitate Pindrawale and what he taught. We know that he was first set up by Gyani Zail Singh, a Sikh politician, and Indira Gandhi, India's former prime minister, and then used by the Badals to commit lawless acts and murder innocent people. Those trying to rehabilitate them are trying to promote violence again in Punjab. Mark such individuals who try to promote Bhintranwale's ways to be destroyed as enemies of Punjab. You will find that these promoters of Bhintranwale are either masqueraders or beholden to the Badals or other murderers. I've also noticed a trend of some foreign converts to Sikhism. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm sure it pleases many Sikhs that others are converting to their religion. But beware of attempts to subvert the religion by infiltration. I have given you the example of how German masqueraders have been attempting to destroy God's church that I belong to from within by infiltrating it. They might be attempting to do the same by infiltrating it. They might be attempting to do the same to Sikhism by infiltrating it. So just be very careful. To thwart attempts to pervert the religion, I suggest reorganizing the administration of it. Shromani Gurdwara Prabandhak Committee or SGPC funds should be used exclusively for religious and educational activities or for preaching activities, including maintenance of religious places, but never for political purposes. This means that sufficient funds would be available to pay handsome salaries equal to Punjab government salaries to lead granthis, junior granthis, and musicians. This will attract PhDs and real highly accomplished scholars in Sikh studies to these positions rather than the poorly educated persons who currently occupy them. Such scholars functioning as lead granthis will be able to easily identify attempts to subvert the religion and oppose them appropriately or authoritatively. Finally, I would like to clarify my position concerning religion. I am no longer a practicing Sikh but a Christian. However, my church does not try to convert people to its faith. I have no interest in converting Sikhs, Hindus, or Muslims to my branch of Christianity. We preach what we believe. Then those interested in our faith can contact us and indicate an interest in joining us. We never contact anybody to convince them to join our church. Once someone indicates an interest in joining our church, we try to assess whether the person has read about our faith and understands our beliefs. Only when we are convinced that the person has a good understanding of our beliefs and has a genuine interest in adhering to them, that the next steps in joining our church are initiated. We never coerce anybody or provide financial incentives to people to join our church. I still have very close contact with Sikhs as both my brothers and their families and all their relatives are practicing Sikhs. I am also a Punjabi and want Punjabis to prosper, and Sikhs are a very important part of Punjabis. That's why I monitor what goes on in the Punjabi and Sikh world. Watch for any dangers, particularly from the Germans and their allies in India, that they might be faced with, and warn them beforehand and how to deal with them. That's the purpose of these videos. The new realization that Sandhus, in addition to Sidhus, are actually Rajputs masquerading around as Punjabi Jat Sikhs, and that Puris are Rajputs masquerading as Sikhs or Hindus is devastating for our defense against attacks by the Rajputs and other Indians allied with the Germans. Our enemies have multiplied in numbers, whereas our numbers have diminished by that much. Thus, our task of defending ourselves has been made that much more difficult. In conclusion, Sikhs and Punjabis worldwide and their allies, the Americans, Britons, and Jews, please shun Sidhus and Sandhus, who are Rajputs from Rajasthan state masquerading around as Punjabi Jat Sikhs. Puris, who are also Rajputs masquerading as Punjabi Khatri Sikhs. Those with the last name Kakkar or Sambi, as they are Pathans masquerading as Punjabi Sikhs or Hindus, and Khans, as they too are all Pathans. All of them are allied with the Germans and their other Indian allies such as the Gujaratis, Bengalis, and South Indians. Their only goal is to take advantage of Sikhs and Punjabis while they are doing everything in their power to impoverish us with the ultimate goal of destroying us. Now, we have nothing against Pashtuns or anyone else in Afghanistan because they are not troubling us or masquerading as Sikhs or Hindus to impoverish us or murder us. Therefore, Afghans or Pashtuns in Pakistan have nothing to fear from us. There is no reason why Afghans cannot be allies of the Punjabis for mutual benefit and economic development. But we will deal with Pathans living among us in India, particularly Punjab, who actively trouble us, like we will deal with the Rajputs who masquerade around as Punjabi Sikhs or Hindus. Thank you very much for watching this video. Please continue to watch my videos and read my articles on important world events, World War III watch, politics, international business, advice on health and medical problems, and much more for in-depth and insightful analysis. Please also subscribe to my YouTube and Facebook channels, Unmasked Truth with Harmanjit Saini, to view and get information on the latest videos. Some people do not have the strength or the time to go through the full length of videos. They find it more convenient to read the text of the video. Unfortunately, YouTube does not provide that capability to make the text of my videos available on YouTube. But fortunately, Facebook does provide that capability. So I make the text of my videos available on my Facebook channel, which you can easily copy.